Thousands of employees at the CDC will soon get checks in the mail for millions worth in unpaid overtime. But a Reveal investigation uncovered not all of the money will go to the employees who earned it. Reveal investigator Andy Parati explains how this happened.
This is me and Jay in the Badlands.
When we first met George Rourke in 2019, he was ready to ride into retirement after working in the military and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for 36 years.
South Dakota.
He left with a bang, too. The former emergency response specialist discovered he and 106 fellow colleagues were not paid overtime for 5 years. The agency did not admit fault, but agreed to pay $11 million to the union representing impacted employees, funded by the American taxpayer and first uncovered by 11 Alive in August 2019.
Workers could get checks after the CDC agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement.
And this comes after employees claimed the agency did not pay them over time.
I was hopeful that it was going to be settled very quickly and people were going to get the money that they were owed. At that time, I didn't know. I don't think any of us knew the magnitude of what would come out of it.
A Reveal investigation has uncovered nearly 2 years later, George and several of his fellow employees represented by the union say they aren't getting what they were promised, many of them getting paid far less than what they're owed.
The original intent of the settlement was to reimburse the 107 employees who provided evidence they worked overtime but were never paid. Earlier this month, members learned that's not what happened. Instead of reimbursing the employees who proved they were owed OT, the settlement capped the amount they could get paid to $18,000. Even if they were owed more. The change allows about 2,400 other union members to get more money, whether they worked overtime or not. George says he should be owed about $40,000 in OT. He's now getting less than half that.
It doesn't make me feel well because the people that should be paid should be the ones that were harmed and the ones that were harmed the most.
It's the employees' money, and that's what's really unfair about it.
Pam Gillis knows a lot about the settlement because she helped lead the fight for the CDC to hand over the money as a former union president.
During that time,
Randolph Williams is the current vice president of the union. The two don't blame the agency for the problem. This time, they're pointing the finger at Dion Mason, the union's past president.
So one person has full discretion on how these millions of dollars are going to be distributed?
Well, that was not the intent.
Williams says he and a panel of other union members tried to voice their concern over the distribution plan with Mason months ago.
As a matter of fact, when the panel disagreed with the union president, she relieved us of our duties for the distribution because we didn't agree with her.
Under the settlement agreement, Mason was supposed to notify employees of the distribution plan in advance. Williams and Gillis say that didn't happen. And according to documents reviewed by the Reveal, Mason never submitted a claim for OT, but she's still eligible to receive thousands of dollars under the settlement terms she alone approved.
She's a person who benefits from this because she did not have a claim for overtime. She told me that herself.
I think what the president has done is for personal gain.
Mason declined interview requests, writing in an email that this is an internal union matter and I have no comment. On the union's website, she wrote to members that your union stands by the formula and calculated payment amounts as being fair and equitable. Other CDC employees see it differently.
Where does the union president get off on being the sole person to make a decision to give more money to people who didn't work overtime, tab off people who actually did have an overtime claim so that many of them who may have worked a lot of overtime are going to be shortchanged?
A few weeks ago, Mason lost her bid for re-election as union president. A few CDC employees tell me they are considering filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Labor.